Good morning, Jackie. I heard you've put your 2 weeks notice in this morning. Is everything all right?
Oh, hi Frank. Yes, it's true I'm leaving the firm in 2 weeks.
Why is that?
Well, I don't expect you to understand. You see, I've done a lot of thinking, and honestly my conversations with you have been too damaging to my faith. Plus, this job is eating up 40 hours of my week, time I could be spending serving my God in the ministry. I just feel like I haven't been putting enough time in God's service when I can. A brother in the Kingdom Hall has a cleaning business, so I'm going to work for him part-time.
A part-time job? Jackie, you've told me many times that you needed this job in order to make ends meet. How are you and your husband going to survive without it?
Well, Frank, we have faith. It will carry us through. Unlike you, I have a God to trust in and to lean on. He is there for me. By putting my burden upon him, I will be blessed in other ways.
Well, I hope so, for your sake. I'm sorry to hear that I'm the reason you're leaving.
No. It's not just you. It's everything about this job. I've been suffering in my meeting attendance and I didn't have any time to report in field service last month. I just need to get away and focus on what's more important in life.
I see a lot of foolishness in what you're doing. This religion of yours seems to put a lot of stress in your life. I work the same schedule you do, and I actually enjoy my life. I have a wonderful wife and family who love me. I'm just concerned that you're making a bad decision here. But I'm speaking out of turn here. It's your life and your decision.
I appreciate your concern, Frank. But this is something I'm determined to do. I hope one day your eyes will be opened, too, so you can share in the wonderful hope the Bible has promised.
Well, that's where we differ. From what I've seen, it's you and your elders who have yet to open their eyes. You know, during my conversation with Calvin, I asked him what he would need to see in the Bible to stop believing it to be from a divine source. He told me that if it made a prediction that didn't come true, then he would have to stop believing it. I showed him 3 examples of these failed prophecies, their failures even confirmed in the same books, and he refused to acknowledge it, right when he saw the evidence looking him right in the face.
I'm sure there's a rational explanation for what you showed him. You probably ignored it.
No, he had no answer, only that he would have to get back with me. I'm not trying to be rude here, but I've given you and the elder from your church ample opportunity to demonstrate the truthfulness of your beliefs to me, and you have failed consistently. That's why I take issue when you say I'm the one who needs to have his eyes opened. You can't even answer my questions. I was going to speak with your traveling overseer tonight, but Calvin called last night and canceled. Why is this traveling overseer of yours afraid to talk to me?
He's not afraid to talk to you, Frank. It's just that we have a very important work we're doing. We search for sheep like ones. You just want to argue and debate. We can't waste our time with someone like you.
Listen to yourself. You're the one claiming to have the truth, but when someone questions you with some very basic objections, instead of trying to answer them, you just move on to someone more receptive. Well, that's fine. You don't have to discuss religion with me if you don't want to, but don't try to tell me that I need to open my eyes, or that you have the truth. If your church has demonstrated anything to me in the last few weeks, the real actual truth is the last thing you're concerned about. I listened to the speakers at your meeting last night. Quite honestly, it sounded like a cult meeting. Just repetition over and over again about how the end of days is so close, how the organization speaks for God. Yet not once does it seem that any of you stop and truly question whether or not anything you teach is the truth. You're hooked in by a catchphrase and don't think about it after that. It seems that once you join, you're discouraged from ever re-evaluating your decision again.
Look, I realize that the organization might have its flaws, but it's what makes me a moral person. You can't have morality without God.
Why?
Because God is the source of morality.
That's not an answer, that's only a rewording of the original assertion. I assure you I have morality without God. Where I differ from you is that I don't need bribes and threats to be a good person. You follow a God because you don't want to be destroyed at Armageddon, and because you hope for everlasting life in paradise. Let's say 2 people each found a lost wallet on the street. We both recognize the right thing to do would be to try to track down the owner of the wallet, and if that does not work, bring it to the police station. Now, imagine that one person finds the owner and gives back the wallet because he hopes the owner will then give him the cash in the wallet as a reward. He also fears being caught by the police with the stolen property. The other person brings it back to the owner without any expectation of a reward, but because of a genuine sense of empathy over the owner's situation. Which of those two have greater morality?
Well, the second person. But I know where you're going with this. Bribes and threats are not the only reason I serve Jehovah. Even if there were no promise of a paradise, I would still be a Jehovah's Witness, because it's the best way of living.
Honestly, I don't buy that. Because without the threat of destruction at Armageddon and the promise of paradise earth, it wouldn't be the same religion. You've repeatedly told me about how it's important to have hope and faith. Removing the hope of paradise would remove your motivation to spend all this time serving your God. You wouldn't need to quit this job to spend more time knocking on doors, because there would be no end coming. I don't deny that you enjoy the lifestyle. I have no problem with it, but your religion without its hope and threats is not the same religion. I'm not saying you're an immoral person. You obviously have morals, and I do too. We even get them from the same source, ourselves and the society in which we live. Of all the things that are wrong in the Bible, there are many good and right things in it as well. The Golden Rule, for example. Treating others as you wish to be treated. It's such a basic moral code that underlies everything else. It's universal to almost all religions. It even predates Christianity and Judaism. And it isn't that hard to figure out. Just don't hurt people if you don't want them to hurt you.
I can't listen to this. I'm done. Please don't talk to me anymore.
Okay. If that's the way you feel about it, I won't bring it up again.